Am I the only one who stumbles? Pressure keeps me aligned. I don't stumble when I'm in the storm, but I stumble without it. When my thoughts, speech, action drift, I tend to drift with them. And I'm learning that becoming needs alignment. And for me, at least, alignment needs pressure. Like, I have to be in a position where I have to show up for other people, for myself. That's when I'm the most me. That's when I'm the most sane, when I'm the most put together, and I'm able to just stay within my game plan and not drift off or veer off into any other things. And I think all of this lends itself to figuring out myself and what it is that makes me tick. And I think we all need a little bit of that within ourselves. For me, alignment seems to be the solution to my problems, and misalignment the cause of my heartache. And the heartache is not because the things that I'm doing are inherently incorrect or wrong or whatever the case, but because they are not what I feel that I'm supposed to be doing. You know, um, specifically with me, man, just that being 21, living, like a 21-year old, I just can't do it, man. I can't. Like, yeah, or I've done it enough. I'll say that because I'm usually you know, the head of the minister of enjoyment. I'm the first person. If we're coming out of an exam paper, whatever the case, I'll be like, yes, let's go to the beach, man. Go to the beach, let's have fun. Bring 15 girls. There are two of us. You're like, bro, there are two of us. Let's bring 15 girls. Just because we can, and so on and so forth. I mean, I've talked very often on here for the people who have followed about the beast in me, and that it is caged with frail and fragile bars. People who know me know this. Um, that everybody knows. They've seen him outdressed in my clothes, as Johnny Cash so elegantly put it. But right now, I'm at a spot where I'm realizing that that is the primary source of my cognitive dissonance right now. The misalignment between my thought, speech, action. That beast in me, um, the party lifestyle, the going out, the drinking, that not necessarily the women. I think I've gotten that vice relatively under control. I most of the year I went celibate, and yeah, so there's only been a couple of times here and there where I've stepped outside of that. But by and large, I think uh, that time that I gave myself, I had told myself, like, okay, I'm going to stay away from this until I know for a fact that it doesn't control me. I stayed away from it until I felt like, oh, okay, no, this thing doesn't control me. Cool. And then I stepped back into it. So alcohol, I know for a fact, doesn't control me. It's never had that kind of control over me or pull, but fun with my friends, experiences with say my cousins, family members, whatever the case, that type of stuff. That typically has an edge of an intoxicative nature to it. Uh, those things do have a pull to me, and that happens to be a part of those experiences. And so the question for me was never, man, am I not going to be a part of this thing? Am I not going to indulge in this thing? I don't mind not indulging in the thing. I mean, I spend most of my time in the gym. Most of my consumed content isn't about like party lifestyle and this and that, but it is about health, fitness, bodybuilding, this, that. That's my bag. That's my interest. Those are the things that like move the needle for me. And so, with that being said and understood, I think I'm gonna take some time. I'll tell you where this stems from. I was having a conversation with my personal generative AI, with my chat, and I've given chat what's called a master prompt, which is full context on me as a human animal. And obviously, it's within certain chats. For example, um, I give it a title and I'll let it suggest back to me. Like, give me three titles. Give me a poetic one, a philosophical one that's closest to the one that I gave you, but refined. And let me select from that. Give and okay. Now give me. Like we'll go back and forth, and also creatively with the clothing brand Legacy Africa. We'll go back and forth to that. Like, okay, well, this, that, the third. I'm like, okay, now give me, options with this. And then I'll use my knowledge because obviously I've read plenty of books and I've thousands of hours of podcasts, whatever. And I'll go back and forth. We'll go back and forth and we'll craft these beautiful things, these symphonies we'll sing. And I said, with all this in mind, all this is context. I have this dream. This is today's conversation. I have this dream. I want the Camps Bay Villa on the Ferrari 296 GTS. I want these things. I don't want to have them comfortably. I don't want to be constraining the cash flow of the business, or for that to be something that's putting pressure unnecessarily on myself and the people around me. But I want to have those nice things. I'm 21 right now. This is the situation. Is that, like, on top of the master prompt that I gave, I'm giving it more context so that we can have this robust dialogue. And I said, what would it take? How big would I have to dream in order to make this a reality and make it comfortable for me? And then, we talked real numbers. We talked about, okay, from 21 to 25, I want to be looking at doing these numbers and doing this and doing that. And just a lot of discourse, a lot of back and forth. And within those conversations, uh, yeah, obviously there is the element of, like, no, AI is agreeable, tell you whatever you want to hear, blah blah blah. But then at the same time, there are some hard truths, about choosing consistency, not chaos. About, like, last time, bro, I went on a drinking binge, almost took my life, in a sense, and I was out for a good 2 3 days, no shorts, no long form video, nothing. And that's a disruption of momentum, and I need momentum in order to make my dreams become reality. I need to be. I was out of the gym those days. I could have been in the gym those days. I missed. Here's the thing: there are days that you just have to miss. you know you have an exam on that day, you have a job interview on that day, you have whatever important event on that day, and you decide, okay, no, this is more important than just continuing with the path. You There are ways where you can have, like, a mini workout and still get your shorts out, do that thing on the day. You can keep momentum when it comes to, like, doing these important things, but then, over, like, a weekend with some friends, or family for that matter, like, it's like, that's cool, but I'm really trying to do some generational stuff, and I'm really trying to change the trajectory of my life and all of our lives forever. And I think there is a part of me that needs to be a bit more selfish when it comes to that, which is something that I tend to struggle with in a sense. Like, I always worry that I'm being too selfish, because I do lead a quite selfish life, in the sense that, like, I'm focused on this, I'm focused on trying to develop businesses, I'm focused on, the school, I'm focused on uh, my physique, I'm focused on whatever, right? And so with the rest of my time, I try and devote as much as I can to my loved ones around me. And so I really deeply am concerned that I'm spending too much time away from them. And then when things like that happen, which is not the event in itself, but whenever I step outside of my alignment, I pay for it. I've talked here about the identity conflict, and even last time when I came back from the living that life, I talk about, man, I am gonna live this life and I'm gonna live it here, and let you know that it's a part of me and that it's a character flaw, that I'm working on, and that I'm not perfect. And but I did also talk about how every time I do it, I feel that it is me stepping outside of my destiny. And we talk about those interesting lines that Chap may have thrown back at me. One of them is, um, when you step out of your alignment, it's not that you feel guilty or that you are undisciplined in those moments, but you feel remorse, and that's your future self letting you know that what you're doing now is not congruent. It's not on that path. It's not like, oh no, I feel guilty, I feel bad, because I don't feel guilty for like spending the weekend with my friends or spending the weekend with family or whatever the case. But there are certain behaviors that happen throughout that they're not in alignment with being the generational leader, with being the influential figure, for standing for Africanism, African pride, like being him. There's certain behaviors that are just not in alignment with those values. And that's a word that has literally been haunting me for the last couple of years, to be honest with you. Every time I've heard it, it just searches the soul, doesn't it? That word, alignment. Is what I'm doing now in alignment with my vision, with my dreams, with my goals? If the answer is no, then why are you doing it? Questions I ask myself. And yeah, definitely taking just time away. And the time away, I want to say a month, I want to say a year, I want to say 3 years at very least, with the map that me and Chad had set out. Perhaps, if I give a decade to the game fully, like no stepping out, no, like nothing, bro. If I just lock in, now I'm 21, lock in till 30, 31. Between 30 and 35, I'm set to have really hit my stride. Perhaps give myself a little grace. Perhaps within that, there are going to be times where I hit those, like some little milestone, and I'm like, yeah, let's celebrate a little bit. Let's. But the job's not done. Don't just just give yourself a little breathing room. But at the same time, with that plan we laid out, if I really give everything to this game for the next 10 years, um, between 30 and 35, we can be in Camps Bay and push that Ferrari realistically. But it's gonna take a lot out of me, and I have to be willing to give it. And the thing is, I am willing to give it, because again, when I step outside of my path, I feel remorse. Not because what I'm doing is wrong. I feel it's wrong. It was the wrong thing. It was the wrong time, whatever. But because I feel that it is outside of my personal journey and my personal path. And I think to betray that is to betray everything. To betray that is to betray God and the gift that He's given you. Just, if there's one thing to dedicate, and that's the thing, that success that I'm going for, it's not the same success that everyone else is going for. Someone else, if they made 50K a month and they were surfing for the rest of the year, if they could, for as little work as possible. Man Gatsby talked about this in the most recent podcast I've watched of him. There's a friend of his made 50K a year, and he surfs for the rest of the year. His business model was, how can I do as little as possible, make this much, and have free time? That's success for that guy. For me, I want to be a leader among leaders. I want to be a generational African leader. I want to be remembered as such. I want to create legacy. And so my actions have to be in alignment with that identity, you know. Yeah. let me not keep you here for too long, man. Thank you for watching. If you did in fact enjoy today's video, please do hit that subscribe button. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.